tried Daddy Bear's great big bed, but it was too hard, and Mummy Bear's middle-sized bed was too soft. But when she lay down on Baby Bear's bed, it was just right, and she fell fast asleep. Oh no, I wonder how the bears will feel when they get back. I wonder if you can spot the bears in this picture. Meanwhile, out in the woods, Mummy Bear was picking apples. These juicy red apples are going to make the sweetest pie, she said happily in her middle-sized voice. But Daddy Bear thought a little drop of honey would taste much sweeter than any apple pie ever could. Yow! He suddenly shouted in his great big voice. No honey and lots of bees. Baby Bear cried, ow! When Daddy Bear yelled, yow! And he ran up and over a nearby hill to get away from the bees. When Mummy Bear had picked all the apples, she could fit into the basket, it was time to go back to the cottage. The porridge must be just right, Daddy Bear said hungrily in his great big voice. Baby Bear, we're going home now, Mummy Bear called in her middle-sized voice. But I'm playing hopscotch, Baby Bear answered in his wee tiny voice. Yet he soon skipped along after them when he saw they were on their way. The bears returned, ready to eat, but when Daddy Bear saw his bowl, he shouted, Someone's been eating my porridge. And Mummy Bear gasped, Mine too. Then Baby Bear cried, Someone has been eating my porridge and they've eaten it all up. Oh no, those poor bears. Then Daddy Bear growled, Someone's been sitting in my chair. And Mummy Bear wailed, Someone's been sitting in my chair. Mine too, Baby Bear cried. Someone has been sitting in my chair and it's broken in two. Oh no. The three bears could not believe someone had been in their cottage. Suddenly Daddy Bear exclaimed, Let's look upstairs. He headed for the bedroom with Mummy Bear and Baby Bear right behind him. Oh, look. Who's in Baby Bear's bed? Uh-oh. Someone's been sleeping in my bed, he said in his great big voice when they reached their room. And someone's been sleeping in my bed, Mummy Bear cried in her middle-sized voice. Then Baby Bear cried in her wee tiny voice, and someone's been sleeping in my bed, and there she is. Goldilocks is still in Baby Bear's bed. Goldilocks was sleeping so soundly she didn't hear the bears at first, but then Baby Bear's cry woke her up. She sat up in bed and for a moment Goldilocks could not believe her eyes. What were three bears doing in a cottage in the woods? The three bears were so astonished that they just stood and stared. What was a little girl doing in their home? Goldilocks was so frightened she jumped out of bed, ran right past the bears, raced down the stairs and out the front door. The three bears ran after her. "Wait!" cried Daddy Bear in his great big voice as Goldilocks disappeared down the path. "Please come back," Mummy Bear called kindly in her middle-sized voice. But Goldilocks just ran and ran. I wonder why she ran away. Maybe she was scared that the bears would eat her. By supper time, everything was back to normal. "This has been quite an unusual day," Daddy Bear said in his great big voice. "I hope that dear little girl is safe at home," said Mummy Bear in her middle-sized voice. Then Baby Bear asked hopefully in his wee tiny voice, "Do you think she'll ever come back?" And Mummy Bear answered, "Maybe someday." Baby Bear didn't say anything more. He just silently wished that the day would come when Goldilocks would return to their cottage in the woods. Oh, maybe he just wants to play with her and be friends. Looks like they've got their nice bowls of porridge at the right temperature now. Now that the moon has risen and the stars are twinkling in the sky, it's time for the 3 sleepy bears to go to bed. Shall we put the great big Daddy Bear in his great big bed, which is just right for him? Which bed do you think belongs to Daddy Bear? That's right, it's the big one. Then let's put the middle-sized Mummy Bear in her middle-sized bed, which is just right for her. Which one do you think is the middle-sized bed for Mummy's bear? That's right, this one's the middle-sized bed. And last of all, let's put the wee tiny Baby Bear on his wee tiny bed, which of course is just right for him. Which bed is the smallest? That's right, it's this one. Ah, when they are all safely in bed, let's whisper very softly, "Good night, Daddy Bear. Good night, Mummy Bear. Good night, Baby Bear." Oh, the end.